ni tẹ̀ má ṣe wọ ọmọbìnrin rádaràda yìí. Èmi gbé iṣẹ́ fún ọmọ ìwọ jókòó òun bá ṣe. Kálẹ̀ mi mo bí ọdún ìbá bá ọjà lónìí.
God was the first to open my eyes to lighting. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. And the earth was without form and void. Okay, the earth is the location for my film. But the first thing he did, said, let there be light. And there was light. And God taught me, he told me, do you know that sometimes I use the cloud as filters? I remember the days when my Oga K Technical Evangelical Film, my Oga K Technical would produce film and take it to Cultural Center in Ibadan here, take it to Cultural Center in Abeokuta, take it to KS Motel, all those places where the cinemas are at that time. That even the secular filmmakers, I remember the time of what's the title of this movie that was made by Yinka Quadri at that time, was coming shoulder to shoulder with K Technical Film at Ifeoluwa at that time. That even those guys were saying, Ogbeni, you have to take your film out of the cinema to allow our film to thrive. Because the publicity was so high, people were trooping in to watch gospel film in Cultural Center of Ibadan the right time.
Well, I mean, I would not be surprised simply because there's a ready-made audience.
Okay.
I mean, I think maybe these guys are not thinking very well in terms of how they do their business. I mean, the Christian world is huge.
Yeah.
And so apart from those ready-made audience, I would expect there are some curious people who would still like to join. Yeah. So this is, for me, I think it's bad business. If anybody is saying, but I kind of wonder,
but they are not
don't you guys have sponsors?
We don't have sponsors. Most of the people that we have presently are independent volunteers, independent gospel producers, independent executive producers who have decided in their heart to make use of their treasures for the gospel film. And they are coming into gospel film. They are putting down their resources to make movie as their capacity can make it. We just shot a film not quite long. I would say that happens to be the biggest project ever that in the gospel film. The movie is titled Ayaba.
And it's up to...
It was actually funded by the Apostolic Church.
So the budget was up to 100 million?
I don't know.
No, but it was big.
I don't know, but it was a big budget because we were thinking, I remember that we were thinking of going to use a film village to shoot. And then the budget they gave us for that film village was very high. And then we thought of, we have good set designer among us. All we just need is to rent a place and then build it.
Build the set.
They build the set and people were watching the set online. Some people were watching the set online. They said, they've gone to, they mentioned the name of that. They said, this is Ibrahim Chatter's village. Yeah. I said, this is not Ibrahim Chatter's village. This is our own built set. In fact, the executive producer came to that set and said, and they said, you are going to dismantle this after the shoot. Yes, so because we rented the place. He said, why? I need to talk to our people to give you land to make film village. We don't have sponsors. If we have sponsors, it would have been very easy for us to but some people were just coming in. putting down their resources. And I believe that is what will open the eyes of others to see that we are actually making. And the story we did was the story of Esther in the Bible. Fantastically told in an African way. You need to see the movie when it's out.
Well,
I was the director of photography of the film.
I look forward to that. So you mentioned earlier about the lack of schools. Yeah. So do you have, gospel schools now where people can be trained? At least given the number of professionals that you're mentioning and what they do.
At least presently now we have few. We have Mount Film School now, and that's actually doing very great in affiliation with some universities in Nigeria, in affiliation with the Redeemers University, Ajayi Crowther University. They are running performing arts in Christian film, in Christian drama, and people are getting their degrees and PhD from there. That's for me, it's a big one. And we have some other ones. I have a film school, and it's a Medran Film Academy where I trained people on cinematography. Basically, I trained them cinematography, lighting, and sound. That's what I do. Basically.
And where is that located?
It's right here in Ibadan. That's it's around Olaogun, so the Road. That's so I train people because it was passion that took me into it, because I realized that we are limited. And there was a time I just woke up and I was just thinking that if we have 10 locations, 10 gospel film locations, who are the crew that will work it out? We just realized that it's the same experts that we are recycling from this location to this location, this location to this. So before you know it, they are weak. They cannot even go to several locations. So why can't we just train up some boys who are interested, who are passionate, and can do the job? And to God be the glory. Now we're having them. We're having them.
That's really wonderful. So, what do you think is the future of faith-based films in Nigeria and Africa? What do you see? Where do you see them in the next 10 years?
In the next 10 years?
Yeah, because you've spoken about a decade ago. Now, let's project forward. Given the improvement that we had in the last 10 years, so what do you foresee?
First, I see faith-based film winning the critics in the next 10 years. Because criticism has actually done a lot to us. It actually do not make a lot of people to even see the good works that we are doing now. You know, for some, they say, it's a Christian film. They don't want to see.
Well, is it about the film or the attitude of people generally to Christianity? I mean,
yeah. It's actually attitude of people generally to Christianity, but something has to change. The child. Something has to change the culture, and that's what the movie would do. Movie is, should I say, is even more than song, more than music, because movie is a universal language.
Yeah.
When we were young, we were watching Indian films, and we can understand it.
In our days, we watch John Wayne.
We watch Indian films, and we understand. We watch Chinese film, and we, even though we don't understand what they are saying, but yet we understand. We can say, oh, he's killing this guy. It's because of his parent that this guy has to start pursuing the enemy, and all that. We could understand. So the same way. So filmmaking is a general language. It's a universal language that anybody could understand. So, and I believe that faith-based filmmaking will make people understand the language of the gospel.
Yeah, I mean, I believe, but I think initially, and I think I mentioned this earlier on, part of the criticism is not just because of the Christians, it's because of the world. For instance, a lot of movies, I think a colleague of mine, wrote a paper where he mentioned, to God be the glory, even when it's not faith-based. A lot of people bandy the name of God. for various reasons.
Yeah.
Oh, to God be the glory and whatever. Oh, anything that has, a variation of that statement.
Mm.
Whereas, I mean, you watch a film that is ritual film and whatever, and at the end, to
There's
God be
to
the
God be
glory,
the
at
glory.
least that is one. And two, I think in a lot of the early faith-based movies or films, what we have is where the stories are not convincing.
Mm.
I mean, the events in the story.
Mm.
Basically, as a writer, I know that plot, the causation, because of the hurry to make a statement
Mm.
of affirmation of either the power of Christ and the gospel, people don't pay enough
Mm.
attention to the elements of the story.
You're right,
So it
sir.
appears as if, in most cases, they are contrived. Like I said again, they're very melodramatic. And when you have melodrama, the thing is, what you have at the end um, is what Aristotle called pathos.
Mm.
Not, is pathetic, not something that is really worth it. Let me give you an example. Even non-Christians watch that movie, The Passion of the Christ.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I watched it in Toronto, Canada, when it was out. I was in graduate school
Yeah.
then. And in the theater, people were crying.
Mm.
I'm a filmmaker, so I know.
Mm.
I mean, I just I pretended, I acted as if I was, because I sat in the midst of people. They gave me some tissue to clean to dab my tears. I would say, without exaggerating, that at least 90% of people in the theater were crying.
Crying.
And I've had stories of how the film led even to
Yeah.
miracles. And I'm not sure whether those who produced it were actually Christians.
No. No.
So you see the power, the force. So I agree with you
Yeah.
that they can. So this is why I'm saying the question is that at times, yes, people critics, and I'm happy that you guys are trying to prove them wrong. People just, they're too melodramatic, and there's this thing we call the Deus Machina, in the theater, the God of the machine, where Christian, the name of Jesus is just to use to resolve things. When you look at the movie, you discover that there's no internal, the structure didn't really, what happens in the long run, it's not reflected in the intricate structure of the story, where one can come to a logical conclusion.
Yes, yes. All of those things were actually some of the being at that time.
Yeah, so they are
But
different now.
we're trying to correct the impressions now, because in those days, zeal was the first that brought quite a number of us into filming. We're straight stage dramatists, moving from one, just like the Alarin Joes of those
Of those
days,
days, yeah.
moving from one church to another, from one community to another community, trying to preach the gospel through our acting and all of that. So, and then the zeal took us into filming, and we're there. And when many of us got there, we discovered that we need to get the knowledge. And somebody like me, I didn't enter early enough, because when I knew that what I wanted to do is to actually make it, so I need to learn first. It was as if I was in the hiding, but by the time I came up again, people knew that, oh, this guy has actually gone to learn what he wanted to do, because God actually gave me
A
words to
vision,
do
yeah.
that what you want to do, you need to learn. You need to learn it very well before you enter into it. So some of the first impression has actually affected us. If it is Christian, Kunle do, it
Yeah,
won't be that.
exactly.
So for that,
Yeah.
but now that we are making a change, I used to tell my people, I said, picture is the first thing, because before anybody could watch any film, the moment you open your screen to see a film, the first thing you see is the picture. And if you will stay to watch the film, the picture must be appealing. And that's what
true.
we are trying to work with. And we know the picture is in our hands as cinematographers.
Yeah.
The camera, the light, the picture is in our hand. So, and when people see the first picture, the first scene, the first shot, the first beat, and they say, which film is this? They sit down. Somebody who is standing, the first sight of the picture makes the person sit. And then the next shot he sees is appealing again.
Yeah.
Then he sits right.
Yeah.
It's like this film will be interesting. He doesn't want to know whether it's a gospel film again or not a gospel film. He wants to, and then you keep that tempo. You keep that tempo. You don't, one of the things I used to say when I'm on set working is that please don't let us compromise. So don't let us compromise. Let's keep moving with. In fact, I'm always very, very keen about the first 5 scenes of the film. The very first 5 scenes of the film. Scene 1, scene 2, scene 3, scene 4, scene 5 of the film is very important to me. If you can keep your audience for the very first 5 scenes, and then you are building on that for the rest of the scenes, I tell you, you can get your audience even up to the end of the film. So that's one of the things. And then you have a good screenwriter who has helped you to structure your screen. That is one of the things I'll be happy saying is some of the film I shot. I can't remember. I think in the 2010s, like 2014, 15, 16, like to 2019, and some of the films I shot at that very period were films that were not written by the so-called the producers.
Okay.
Sometimes in our field, it is the person who owns the vision that writes the story.
Yeah.
But at that time, the producers begin to know that even if I conceive the vision, I can give it to a very crafty writer to write it out. One of that movie is Nima. Nima is fantastic. It's a fantastic film. It was written, it was, I think, produced by a church. The Divine, can I remember the name of it? It's produced by a church. I think the pastor of the church is Pastor Buki Benro. And was directed by Kayode Babalola Kebabs, and it was written by Tola Bolaji. Tola Bolaji was one of the first early days screenwriters in the gospel film. That when I got the script and I was reading the script, I said, "Wow, this is a big, in fact, like the first big challenge I have to write a great script like that. I mean, to shoot a great film like that." I said, "I'm going to give it all it takes." Sometimes I'm taking shot on that set and I'm not satisfied. And I look at the face of the director, "Sir, let's take this shot again. Let's take this shot again. Let's take this shot again." And at the end of the day, the film came out fantastic. The story, beautiful. The script, the film, beautiful. So it was the stepping stone to other films that are coming, because we've done this and we've done this right. We cannot afford to do any other one less. So that was like a stepping stone for us. We are trying to correct, and then that gave us a courage that we can approach the cinema now.
I mean, this is the question. That's what I'm saying. I think you guys need to make more
approaching the cinema.
We've been approaching the cinema
for some years now.
Effort, and then because even among the films of the other worlds, is a lot of competition before you can get a space in the cinema. So this is the era. This is the age of the cinema. Now you need to, as a way of rounding up our discussion, which I've really liked a lot. I've been speaking with a lot of people, but your passion, cinematography, and I think if maybe another person that rivals it is Ayo, because he knows the value, and we talk a lot about cinematography. It's an aspect even in films of in the other world. I mean, beyond faith-based, is an aspect that people don't give enough credit. to cinematographers, and of course, except in fact, a lot of in a lot of films they don't even pay attention to that, except the big budget movies.
Yeah.
So why? I mean, I'm just kind of curious. Why are you so passionate about it?
Well, I think
I love it. It's very important, but I'm just again. I can see that you love it. So
yeah.
why?
um, I When I was growing in filmmaking, I chose directing.
Yeah.
I chose directing because I love scripting, and I script, and I love people to be very realistic with their acting and all of that. So, and that was what took me into directing. And I see a space, I see a vacuum in the aspect of picture. Like, even though you are directing, you are doing very much with the actors, but at the end of the day, when the film comes out, they've messed up with your picture. The actors have done well, but the way the picture is looking is not really bringing out what the actors have actually done. In fact, the shots that are taken is not really explaining what the actor is actually doing. So that was my first trigger. That was the first burden I developed to say, okay, now I think I need to do more in the aspect of camera work. So, and I had a challenge. Should I say challenge? That I was directing a movie sometimes ago, and my DP fumbled. The very first day, it was not on set. So we wanted to shoot. The day was already going. We couldn't shoot up till afternoon. I said, "What is happening?" I studied this thing. I knew camera. What's happening? Why will I be waiting for somebody who is
Not
now
serious.
thinking
Yeah.
is a? So I picked up the camera and I shot the movie. And after all, and he has shot some part of the movie. He shot some part of the movie, and at the end of the day, when we edited, my pictures were better than what he gave us. I said, "Ah, so if my pictures are better than what he gave us, so what? Why am I? So I have to do very much things in the cinematography. So I develop my training and develop myself, work more on myself, learn more about cameras and you know how to deal with different type of cameras. And luckily for us, new set of camera came on board, and I was able to work on them. And then I enter into lighting. In fact, God was the first to open my eyes to lighting. I think this is what I used to share with people many times, because when I studied camera, I was not trained lighting. Many times people believe that when you want to study cinematography, it is all about camera. But I tell people that cinematography is not complete
Without light,
without
knowledge of
light,
lighting.
without sound.
Sound.
So these are the three things that make cinematography complete.
Hmm.
Your picture is not good when your sound is not good. Your picture is not good when your lighting is poor. So the first thing that tells your story is the mood, and what tells the mood is the
Is the
light.
light. Yes.
So, and all of these things are what, and I said, okay, let me. First thing was God teaching me lighting.
How?
That's actually yes. To many people, is mysterious, but to me, it's a revelation. I was in the cool of the day. Let me say, I'm in the cool of the day because I was at home. I was not doing anything, and I was thinking about my future in filmmaking. Because at that time, I don't have anything. I've left the secular world.
Well, yeah.
I'm into the gospel, and I don't have jobs like I should be having it. So no money, nothing serious. I was just like that. But I was thinking, how is this? What's the future for me? And God just spoke into my heart, Genesis chapter 1. And I opened my Bible. I started reading Genesis chapter 1. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. And it spoke to me while I was reading. Do you know I'm the first filmmaker? I said, how? Okay, keep reading. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. in the beginning, I have an idea to make a film titled The Heaven and the Earth. You can title it The World. Okay. And the earth was without form and void. Okay, the earth is the location for my film. That was the way God was interpreting that Genesis chapter 1 to me. The earth is my location. I wanted to do a movie. I need a location. And that earth, out of all the 9 planets, that earth is my location. But that location, the set is not built. Everything is still void. And the production designer, who is the Holy Spirit, is doing recce, moving around the faces of water, trying to see where he will use for the filming, and then report back to the director. Who's God? The art is still void though.
Yeah.
But what are we going to do? But the first thing he did, said, let there be light. And there was light.
Yeah.
So I said, let there be light. And there was light. They could not see anything. Just like your camera cannot see anything without light. The beauty of camera is light. Just like the beauty of our eyes. If there is no light here now, we can't see nothing.
Yeah.
So the first thing is light. And he did not stop there. He said, if I made light first, and then for you to film, you need good light. But it did not stop the lighting there. If we read further from that verse 14, he started dividing the lights. He said one to rule the day and the other to rule the night. God started setting mood, day and night. Nice. He did not finish. He did not end up setting the mood there. He set different kind of lighting designs. Even in the afternoon, there are different moods. And God taught me to the point that he told me, do you know that sometimes I use the cloud as filters to filter the excess ray, the intensity, the heavy harshness of the light. I diffuse the light with cloud.
So that it's not just a key light. It becomes...
God started teaching me all those things from that Genesis. So that's a diffuser. Sometimes the diffuser is white. Sometimes the diffuser is black. That one is ND filter. Sometimes it's bluish. And these are all the gels that we use. Diffuser and gels we use on our light to change the mood, to change the colors of this light. Wow. This is what God was teaching me. And then he taught me all of these things. He said, I did not finish there. You know, I also have lighting effect. I create lightning from thunder. When thunder wants to strike, I create lightning. Apart from that, I create rainbow. These are lighting effects.
So how do you apply this to, I mean, how did you become self-conscious that this is, you know, this is saying something about your, you know, your field?
Yes, I've taught it in several film schools.
Yeah.
How I apply these things to teaching people about lighting.
Yeah.
I told them that God did not create 2 key lights. He created one key light.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons why when you are shooting movies and you have an actor walking and then you have like 3 shadows following the actors, then your lighting is wrong.
Yeah.
So you need to create your key light. Where is your source of light?
Yeah.
Your source of light is your key light.
Yeah.
Just like God himself creates a source of, you can decide to diffuse your source of light. Yeah. You can decide to leave it as key. You can place your source of light anywhere. It can come from the back, it can come from the side, it can come from anywhere, but make it cinematic. This is one. And the sun happens to be God's key light.
Yeah.
Even the moon does not have light on its own. It's a reflector. It gets its source from the sun and reflects it to the other side of the earth. Yeah. And the other side of the earth, that where the moon reflected light is not as bright as where the sun is. So you don't expect your field light to be as bright as your key light.
Yeah.
So all these are the things that I applied. I said, God did not stop there. God create backlight. God create practical light. When you see the sky, sometimes you see stars. These are practical lights. So I use that to teach people that take the earth as the talent on set. The sun is the key light, hitting the talent at a particular angle.
Yeah.
So if you want your film to be cinematic, you need to have a three-dimensional talent, a three-dimensional lighting on your talent.
Yeah.
What is that three-dimensional lighting? The key light, the fill light, and the backlight.
Yeah.
So God makes a three-dimensional lighting on the earth. The sun lighting a particular place, the moon fill. So that's when in Nigeria we can be in the day now. Those in US are in their nighttime, and then that's why they will feel the moon. So it is the reflection of the light on the moon that comes to them. And that's why sometimes if the moon is very, is far away from the earth a little bit, we have the full moon. But if the moon drops down a little, we will have half moon, which is like a crescent. So I use that to explain a whole lot of lighting to so many people about lighting, and a lot of people got it. A lot of people got it.
That's really, that's again, as someone who has studied lighting, I can see. I think one of the things that I would like to do is to go pay more attention. I'll go and look at that part of the Bible because I really never look at it this way. Well, it's been a very, very wonderful, very educative discussion.
Thank you, sir.
And interestingly enough, you are the first person that I've spoken to in this industry. And our discussion for me gives me hope for the industry. Let us end it for now, but then don't be surprised if I Oliver twist and ask for more, sometimes. So thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much for this privilege.
So I'll say God bless you.
Amen. Amen. You too, sir. Thank you very much.